Using restorative practices to address the toxic environment and trauma-induced mental health crisis of educators in public education in the United States. The thesis of this project is that public school teachers are leaving the profession due to toxic work environments and the effects of primary and secondary trauma caused in the work environment. Using restorative practices can help alleviate the stressors that have caused experienced teachers to leave the classroom. The hypothesis is that first, by using restorative practice tools of fair process and community building, schools can dismantle toxic work environments in schools. 2. Restorative tools of healing and support circles can assist teachers in recovering from primary and secondary trauma. The crisis in public education. In the 21-22 school year, schools hired 286,290 teachers who lacked the proper certifications to teach. And despite this, schools still had about 30,000 unfilled positions at the start of the school year. This shortage of teachers negatively affects students' learning. Teachers without properly certified teachers can struggle to master content as their teachers may not be familiar with how to teach the subject in order to help students learn the content. Also, unfilled positions can lead to higher class sizes, which means teachers have less time to devote to individual students' needs. Therefore, teachers will not have time to provide remedial instruction for students who are struggling with the concept, nor will they have time to provide enrichment activities for students who can handle more challenging content. Toxic workplace environment and educators. There are many causes of toxic workplace. Increased work demands, unrealistic academic pacing demands, social emotional curriculum expectations, increased behavior concerns, lack of communication and respect with government agencies over new policies or procedures, workplace bullying, lack of respect. These factors contribute to teacher burnout, compassion fatigue, and exhaustion, which can lead to dissatisfaction in the profession and mental health issues. These demoralizing factors are a leading cause of teachers leaving the classroom. Research has shown that prolonged exposure to these toxic situations can result in psychological stress, self-doubt, low self-esteem, fear of job loss, damage to one's reputation, obsessive thinking, and hypervigilance. It can also lead to negatively affect personal relationships and family life. The current teaching shortage demonstrates that educators are feeling the stress and have had to make the decision to either stay in the profession or leave. This cascades down to seeing other people leaving the profession. People are watching that teachers are leaving and they are themselves choosing not to go into the field. They have also actively discouraging their children from becoming teachers. According to Phi Delta Kaplan, 54% of Americans say they would not want their children to become public school teachers, a first time since 1969. Restorative fair practice, community building, and restorative practices. Fair process approach empowers employees by giving them a say in school policies and practices. Fair process is not a decision making by consensus. It is a workplace community where employees can express their opinions and provide feedback in the plan. Decision-making process is inclusive, where administrations show that they value the opinions of teachers. This approach acknowledges and respects everyone's role in the workplace. When we examine the chart, it becomes clear that practicing procedural justice, also known as fair practice process, has a profound impact on our workforce. It not only encourages our teachers to take ownership in their work, but instills in them a deep sense of responsibility and commitment. This responsibility and commitment is sorely lacking in distributed justice, which is the current policy. Building a community begins with 6 critical conversations. These conversations help schools evaluate the good and bad of their environment and ask educators and administrators to think of new ways to collaborate and build a community ready to face successes and challenges. When a school implements these conversations, the talk in environment stress will dissipate because stressors will be discussed. No topic will be taboo. Combined with fair process, schools will create an environment of support. Stress will not disappear, but teachers will know the community will help them overcome it. Primary and secondary trauma and educators. Primary trauma is well defined, although it is often overused in society. Primary trauma refers to emotional response to events such as accidents, crimes, physical, emotional abuse, experiencing or witnessing violence or more. These events are not typical and are not experienced by everyone. Immediate reactions to trauma can be shock and denial. Long-term reactions include erratic emotions, flashbacks, trouble maintaining relationships, and even physical symptoms like headaches or nausea. Secondary trauma, which is lesser known, is an emotional burden bared by individuals exposed to trauma experienced by others. This form of stress can surface suddenly upon hearing about a student's traumatic experience or repeatedly hearing multiple students, resulting in various emotional and psychological effects, including heightened cynicism, sensitivity to violence, feelings of hopelessness, chronic fatigue, exhaustion, anger, physical illness, absenteeism, and turnover. Long-term and repeated exposure to primary and secondary trauma can lead to compassion fatigue and burnout, which leads teachers to leave the profession. I have been physically assaulted multiple times by students in the building, and they know not only is there no one to stop them, but there will be no consequence. I ended up in the hospital the last time it happened. Healing circles and support circles. The underlying philosophy of a circle acknowledges that we are all in need of help and that helping others helps us at the same time. The idea is that an individual suffering from secondary or primary trauma needs to have a safe place to express their stories in a non-judgmental space where the focus is on them, allowing them to express their emotions pent up or emotions that they did not realize they were suppressing. The educator has suffered a trauma and has to deal with the physical, emotional impacts of the incident and may no longer feel safe in the classroom environment. The circle process gives them a safe space to process. Discussing work stress with non-educators is tricky because educators must explain specific phrases mean before they can even express their frustration. This additional conversation adds another layer to stress. Everyone in the educator support group knows the topics and terms and can relate. There is a freedom in being understood. That alone helps validate feelings. Despite being around people, teaching can be a very isolating field. A support circle focuses not only on providing a place for members to talk about their daily struggles, not just crisis. A supportive community can foster a sense of belonging and can aid in healing and trauma. A circle is a place to talk and to be heard. American education is facing a crisis. Public school teachers are experiencing high rates of compassion fatigue and burnout, leading to alarming attrition levels. While the crisis has numerous causes, the focus should be on finding a solution. Restorative practices have the potential to guide America through this challenging period. Schools can be transformed profoundly by applying techniques such as fair process and community building, shifting from toxic environments to nurturing restorative spaces. Implementing healing and supportive circles can help teachers process primary and secondary trauma, providing them with the emotional support needed to continue teaching. Thank you.